The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Wicked Weed Studio. Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene with you. We are the Sportsocracy. Check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. The Buffalo Bills last week killed the Miami Dolphins 35-0. Now,
it was a shellacking.
It was. Miami didn't do themselves any favors last week.
No, and here's the thing. This is if you didn't watch this game, it was very misleading.
Mm-hmm.
Miami got the red zone 3 times. Mm-hmm. How many times did they score?
None.
And why was that? Because they're behind. This is where Buffalo can boat race you. They could give you between the 20s, and then you get in the red zone and they just go, fuck off. You can settle for field goals or you can fail on 4th down. Totally up to you.
Right.
The Bills were my pick to be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl, and I'll be honest with you, through 2 weeks, nothing has changed for me.
Not a thing. You're not concerned about Josh Allen? I mean, he hasn't looked MVP level like he did last year so far.
Because he hadn't had to. He didn't have to. The Steelers' defense is very good. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to be that against the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not overly worried about that.
Okay.
And now I look at the schedule with what's coming up. These are 2 hammer spots 2 weeks in a row. You get the Washington football team and the Houston Texans, both in Buffalo. Those are hammer spots before a difficult part of the schedule going to the Chiefs and to the Titans.
Yeah.
You'll see. I think you're going to see that MVP level Josh Allen come out in the next few weeks.
Can they protect him against this front?
Yes.
Of the Washington football team?
Yes, I'm not worried about it. This is a week that I am not worried in the absolute least about what's coming forward. Now, that's easy for me to say because I'm not a Bills fan. Mm-hmm. If I was a Bills fan, I might be a little more worried. But I just look at an offense that's been completely listless. I mean, and Vegas is trying to tell you it's a 7.5-point spread. 72% of the cash is on Buffalo, which means the sharps are on the Bills. I could see this being another hammer spot. I don't like bad quarterbacks on the road. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Taylor Heineke is a bad quarterback on the road.
Agreed.
And it could look very similar to what you saw last week. A lot of movement between the 20s. The total yardage last week, Buffalo only won that by 100 yards, 98 to be exact. I know that sounds like a lot, but then you look at the score, it was 35-0. They forced a lot of turnovers, which is what I think Buffalo is going to do. They're going to do this to lesser teams. And I think they are clearly better than the Miami Dolphins. I think they are clearly better than the next 2 teams they play. And then we'll get to see them in their, punching in their own weight class starting in week 5 with Kansas City Chiefs.
I think this is Josh Allen's. Now it's Josh Allen's time to show.
And he's going to in one of these games because he's hearing this shit just like everybody else.
Right. I mean, if he wants to shut everybody up of you're not the MVP candidate that we thought you were, then this is the spot to do so. Because they're not going to be able to move the ball on the ground. Devin Singletary, you were the one saying last week Devin Singletary is going to do something today. And he did. And he did.
45-yard touchdown.
He hit a big one. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that against this Washington football team front. They'll get pressure on him, which will force Josh Allen to make decisions. I just don't know if the Washington secondary can keep him in check.
I don't think they can. I think this is one of those weeks where you have to come out and prove to the fan base what you are, maybe silence some of the critics. And to me, I think a lot of the critics are coming from outside of Buffalo. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things where that means nothing to me. Now, if your fan base is getting uneasy and there's a chance of, you start to hear boos at home, that's one thing. There's no fear of that.
No.
It is in Josh Allen we trust. Okay, you had 2 weeks where, maybe you weren't great. Yeah, you're currently sitting at 23rd in the NFL in QBR. Mm-hmm. Okay, Tyrod Taylor's sitting at 1st. So, you remember Tyrod? You think he's the most efficient quarterback in the NFL? Because I don't.
Right.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the definition of comedy to me. This is where smart gamblers make a lot of their money because people overreact. And I think there's the funny thing to me is that this is a week for Buffalo that you've got overreaction on the same side of the coin. Mm-hmm. I feel like the line would be lower for Buffalo because the average gambler is going to overreact to what they've seen from Buffalo. Josh Allen not being great. Yeah, we know you beat the hell out of Miami last week, but that was more them being bad than you being good. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm saying that's a lot of the narrative right now. Mm-hmm. But Washington hasn't been as good as you thought they are. So it's leveled out about where it should be. I would say going into this game with the football team, I'll take it 20. I'll go 27-13. I think the Bills win this pretty comfortably.
It seems like a doable number. Again, Josh Allen's gonna have to prove it. And don't worry, he will. He will. The fact that they've started out the 1-1 on the season, I think, is a little bit of a surprise to people. I don't think too many people were expecting them to lose that first week to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You did?
I know one. I picked it. We do this.
You picked them against the number, game. But I didn't think you picked them to win outright.
I said they could. Can't say I expected it, but I said they could.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's better than people think they are. And people are overreacting like, oh, they lost to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the same breath, the Raiders are the hottest team in the NFL. You're not seeing how these things don't line up together.
Okay. Well, if there's any bugaboos for the Buffalo Bills offense, they got 2 weeks to figure it out because you get the Chiefs next. After you go Washington football team Texans, then you got to go to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs.
And I think that will be a better indicator of where they are.
Yes.
That's 4 weeks into the season. Work the bugs out. You've gone on the road. You've been home. You've done all the things.
Yep.
I think they're going to be 3-1 going into Kansas City.
I'm Tank Spencer, and he's Jeremy Greene. Hit subscribe here in the Sportsocracy so we see all of our team-by-team content as it comes out. And as well, join us every weekday morning live right here in the Wicked Weed studio at 10 a.m. Until next time.